And for our featured review this week, we went to the theater and watched the brand new comedy Joyride. All
I
right, Zach,
respect reviewer.
you're starting out with this one. Tell us about Joyride and what you thought.
Okay, Joyride. Let me pull it up here. Is the latest film by Adele Lim, who I believe was she the writer of Crazy Rich Asians? Do I have that right?
Yeah.
Yes. This is a movie about four Chinese American women who go on a road trip. It's kind of like The Hangover. It's kind of like Bridesmaids. They've done a lot of these in recent years. And this one, in some ways, the narrative structure is not very different. The main character in the movie is Audrey, and she's played by Ashley Park. And in the movie, she's a kind of high-profile lawyer who lives with her BFF, Lolo, played by Sherry Cola. But Lolo's more of a slacker character. But they're kind of a yin and yang sort of mix, and they bounce off each other nicely. But when the Audrey character is sent to China, she's in need of a translator, and Lolo knows Chinese a little bit more intimately. They meet up with two of their friends, and their friends' names are Deadeye and Cat. Deadeye is this sort of vaguely neurodivergent kind of loner character with strange tendencies, maybe loosely modeled on Zach Galifianakis in the Hangover. And Cat is played by Academy Award nominee Stephanie Su. And she's a movie star, not too unlike maybe Scarlett Johansson in Asteroid City. Anyway, the gal pals all get together. They have to go on various missions for various sort of contrived reasons. Some that involve, God, I keep forgetting the main character's name. Audrey's parents, who we learn, her birth parents, that is, who we learn a little bit more about as the movie goes along. Audrey's trying to get this big business deal. And they're also trying to deal with various hang-ups in their love lives and their identities and their friendships. This movie was an interesting experience for me, okay? I was at the theater watching it. The people around me were really into the movie. They were laughing at everything in the first 20, 25 minutes, so much so that it was kind of annoying and it made the movie less good. And so I have a slightly sneer judgment about it, but like, the first 5 minutes and 10 minutes of this movie I thought were kind of awful. When the people around me stopped laughing so hard, I actually really started to enjoy the movie. I can't tell if it was the experience of being in the movie or the movie maybe shifting from their kind of very conventional backstories to when they actually meet up. It takes a little while for these four characters to actually meet up. And there's a sequence in a train that I thought was very funny. There's a sex montage in a hotel that I think was actually hilarious. The movie gradually won me over, and I can't say it's the most original movie in the world, but listen, I think when you're dealing with characters who have historically not been represented on film before in comedies, they've not been allowed to have sexual feelings or, real interesting kind of characteristics, fluid sexuality being one of them, being neurodivergent. This movie's kind of long overdue, and it's really nice to see that diversity represented. I think this is a good movie. I enjoyed it. I can't say it's rewriting the genre, but it is maybe mildly groundbreaking, and for those reasons, I give it 3 stars.
3 stars from Zach. Todd, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think I liked it more than Zach. I mean, it's got the classic comedy hijinks, the predictable gags, but I think it has a heart, which it makes that road trip from hell kind of thing that you see in Bridesmaids or most comparatively Girls Trip. It's a better movie than those, though. Like Ashley Park's more believable than like Bradley Cooper. Stephanie Shu's a better actress than Melissa McCarthy. Sherry Cola is funnier than Tiffany Haddish. Sabrina Wu is less annoying than Zach Galifianakis. I think the actors are all really good in this. There's some weird cameos, including the Chinese basketball team that Lolo tries to hook up with. It gets ridiculous, but it still works for the most part. The scene on the train, Zach was in the trailer and stuff. It doesn't disappoint. Like at that point, your brain is probably already off, and but it works pretty well. And there's a recurring gag with a tattoo that was kind of dumb at the beginning, but when it actually is revealed, it's hilarious and like just kind of shocking. Let's say. That was pretty cool. And yeah, the writers of the movie are the creators of this show called Nora from Queens, which I've seen a little bit of. And it makes a lot of sense, like that's created and starring Awkwafina, which begs the question why she's not in this movie, because the tone is pretty similar. Some of the actors cross over from the show to this, and like overall the antics are pretty similar. The show's pretty funny, but this is given the freedom of that just like hard R rating that just lets the jokes fly at you, and it fits a lot better. But when the movie settles down, like pretty much when like the really quick few days of absolute debauchery end, it rises to a level that I wasn't really expecting, because you get a real sense of what it actually means to be part of these communities, like similar to Nora from Queens. Like it's about like customs, it's about your identity as a Chinese person, about your family and tradition and like friendships and expectations and class. And it has scenes where the characters are like out of their minds, so they tear at each other in the most like emotional way. That kind of reminded me of a little bit of like Clerks or something. But like I didn't know I was going to feel anything at the end of this movie, because it's just so raucous throughout the runtime. And everything after Audrey kind of learns about that her biological family isn't exactly what she expected, and it really works. And for me, the MVP is definitely Stephanie Hsu, though. Like, I wasn't the biggest fan of her Oscar-nominated role, but here she absolutely kills it. She shows up and she looks like kind of Zach said, like she's like the bona fide movie star. She looks like an overqualified pro in this movie, and she's able to bring something different to the table than the other actors. She was the one that really shines through, and she brings a credibility to the movie that I didn't think the movie was really going to have. I can see myself watching it again, though. It's interesting because this is a movie I was kind of dreading seeing. Watching the overplayed trailer, which I don't know if there is another type of trailer than overplayed at this point, but yeah, I'm giving this like a really high 3 stars, high being the operative word. But yeah, I think it's better than all those other dumb comedies that have come out with similar plots. This is just it's just really fun.
Yeah, I agree. I think the rewatchability factor of this movie is really high. Again, high being the operative word. It's funny that you mentioned that this was by the same person who did Nora from Queens, because yeah, when they were describing Deadeye before she came on screen, I was expecting Awkwafina to walk up. It's like, this is the Awkwafina character, and then it wasn't. And Sabrina Wu is amazing. I was like, this. Why isn't it Awkwafina? I mean, it makes you wonder: was this role written for Awkwafina and she just couldn't do it? I don't know.
Could be.
But yeah, it is a lot of fun. And you're right; it has a heart to it, almost like an Apatow movie would to end it. And that really puts it makes it stand out a little bit. I'm giving it 3 stars also. So we got a thrice approved movie here. I don't know if we necessarily thought we were going to have a thrice approved movie when we decided we were going to watch Joyride, but but we do. Yeah, it's got the heart at the end that's amazing. The gags as it go along, it is a whole lot of fun. Talking about the movie watching experience, I was in a theater with maybe 4 other people, and one of them was this guy who was sitting pretty much right behind me. He showed up late. He snored through the first half. Then he walked out for 10 minutes. Walked out, missed the plot twist. Then came back in, walked in front of the screen again, and sat back down for the rest of the movie. I was just, what are you doing here? Why is this a thing? Todd, you completely missed, both of you completely missed the star of the movie, though. And it's the one that Todd is repping on his banner there. That's Baron Davis. I mean,
yeah,
Baron Davis is still a thing? I mean, who would have known?
China.
In China.
It didn't look like he's actually plays in China. It's just, that was just the thing. It was weird, because when I heard her say Baron Davis, I was like, there's no way she's talking about that Baron Davis, right? And
then you think, there's no way he's actually showing up in this, right? And both things happen to be true.
Yeah, I wonder how many people went to this movie and know who Baron Davis is. That's the real question. But I don't know.
That was an
not that many people.
Apatow-like cameo too. Apatow would have someone like him in one of his movies.
Yeah, he had his Eminem cameo and whoever else.
Ray Romano. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, apparently not that many people saw this. It only made like $5 million. And I was in a theater with my girlfriend and one other person, and that was on the opening day. So I was, it was a little disappointing, because like this is the kind of movie you want to see with a big crowd, although Zach doesn't like big crowds, apparently.
Okay, they were laughing too much, and they were laughing at the dumbest jokes in the movie. No offense. Again, it's a chicken or egg thing.
There's totally offense.
I'm not sure if it's like the first 20 minutes of the movie were that bad, or if the people were loud. So in a way, I'm actually praising the movie, because it probably wasn't the movie's fault. It probably was a funny opening 20 minutes. I think this movie is really smart, and I think it does a lot of smart things with the Deadeye character in particular, who's really, really funny. She's played by Sabrina Wu, and so like there's a sequence in the movie where all of them are basically having their sexual escapades. It's very baccalaurean, you know. And when they cut to what Deadeye is doing, that's really interesting. I think it's a bit. I think it's trying to make suggestions about that character's gender journey, which I think is interesting and left kind of ambiguous over the course of the movie. And I really appreciate that. I can't think of a movie that kind of did it that deftly with a particular character, and it wasn't in your face or anything. It was really nice to see. And again, I think the movie is really funny. Like Todd was saying, it's got some big laughs. It does have a big heart. It's like very hard to dislike the movie, which makes its rewatchability factor very high too.
Was I the only one, the Australian Chinese basketball player? I kept on trying to figure out if it was Simu Liu or not.
Oh, I thought it was the whole time. I thought it was until I saw his name wasn't in the credits.
Yeah, because the whole time, like that's so. I knew it wasn't, but I'm like, it is so close that it could have been.
There's also a really great line in the movie when Lolo talks about her artwork, and I think she's showing it to Baron actually, and she says that she started doing it for shock value, but then it's just promoted a conversation. And that is a great line. And I think that actually kind of describes the movie too. In fact, the movie, I think, has a little bit of a beat there. Just maybe it's supposed to be self-referential. Maybe I was reading into it. But like, that's sort of like what this movie is. It has some shock value, but it also contributes to, I think, a really positive conversation or culture. So I applaud the movie. And I think Adele Kim is really talented. Adele Lim, excuse me.
Yeah, definitely a surprise. Definitely something that we need to make sure people go out and see. Because yeah, if it's not making any money, it's not going to be in theaters for long. It's going to be quickly forgotten, like a lot of these attempts at these raunchy R-rated comedies. The one it kind of reminded me a little bit of that wasn't mentioned yet. It was the Scarlett Johansson like bachelorette party one. You guys remember that one with?
I never saw
it. Kate McKinnon was in it too.
Yeah, I never saw it.
Yeah, like the night before, maybe. I don't remember. I got.
No, that was the Seth Rogen movie.
Okay.
Can we also talk a little bit about how I think Todd likes this movie because Awkwafina isn't in it? Is that contributing to your review?
Rough Night. That's it.
You were not fond of Awkwafina's performance in Renfield, which I gave thumbs up to. I think you guys have been kind of ragging on her for a while.
Well, yeah, I mean, she ruined like Shang-Chi and like other stuff. Yeah, I mean, but I think that she would have fit in this because this is like totally her thing, and it's from her writers, her coworkers, basically. I would have thought it would have worked, but
yeah, this is the type of movie where her shtick fits.
So why wasn't she in it?
I don't know.
It is interesting that it's mostly unknown actors, and I'm sure that when Stephanie Hsu was cast in this, she probably hadn't had
an Oscar nomination.
Oh yeah, and she probably her movie probably hadn't really been seen widely yet either. So it probably was just going to be for kind of unknowns.
All right. Well, we're all giving it 3 stars. It is a thrice approved movie, which I would say that means you have to go see.
Yay!
Yeah, definitely.
Watch Adam give it thumbs down. He's not giving it thumbs down. No way. He's not with that pig scene.
Not. All right, go see Joyride. It's in theaters now, and probably not for much longer, given the box office it's making.